Hello, my name is Jim Lee, and I welcome each and every one of you to Unity of Las Vegas Spiritual Center. If you're joining us for the first time, you want to know, well, who are we? Well, we are a center that's steeped in love and guided by the truth. So just want you to relax and feel at home because you are. Today we're taking a look at Father's Day, and that's what the lesson is based upon, but this is a universal message that can fit any day. So just open up your hearts and open up your minds to something special, and that is this. The talk title is The Divine Masculine, which is Holy Boldness in Action. So the order of service, we've got Ira Hilt, our board chair, that's doing the special reading. We got music by Robbie Wingfield, original composition, How to Be a Man. I will be doing the lesson or the message, and then Don Fouts will be bringing it on home with the meditation. So I invite you now to open up your minds, open up your hearts to the divine masculine, which is holy boldness in action.
Hi, I'm Ira Hilf. I'm the president of the board here at Unity of Las Vegas. I'm also a stepfather and grandfather, and I'm doing a special reading today. The words for today are Father's Love. Our affirmation is, I give thanks for my father and all expressions of fatherly love. I treasure my childhood memories of feeling safe when my father or a father figure in my life was nearby. I remember my father's encouragement as I was learning to ride a bike, as we explored the wonders of nature together, and as he taught me to use money wisely. Even when I made youthful mistakes, my father's sometimes stern but always wise judgment helped me find the way back to my right path. I give thanks for both the sacred, human, and the unfolding expression of God within my father and everyone who has blessed me with fatherly love. Today, I pray for my father and for all fathers, affirming for each of them growing wisdom, understanding, and willingness to nurture others with a father's encouraging love. And from John chapter 15, verse 9, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love.
Thank you, Ira. Wonderfully stated. Well, good morning, friends, and happy Father's Day to all you daddy-os and papas. If no one else has told you yet today, we want you to know that we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the divine light of Christ in you this morning. We had a delightful turnout at the church last Sunday for our very first day back to meeting in person, and it was so good to see everyone there. In case you weren't aware, we're back in our sanctuary on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. in Las Vegas, and we'd be thrilled to have you there in person as well. We also enjoy making our program here on YouTube, so we'll be keeping both in place for a while, so you can come see us live as well as share us with your families and friends. For the moment, however, we are suspending our after-service congregational Zoom room for some reconstruction and realignment. We'll let you know when that's going to come back online. Now for today's music, I've reached out to our good friend and former director of music here at Unity of Las Vegas, Robbie Wingfield. Robbie's a father, friend, mentor, and a fantastic singer-songwriter and performer. Visit Robbie on his Facebook page for more information about what he's got going on. And now, here's Robbie Wingfield.
Hello, happy Father's Day. My name is Robbie Wingfield for those that don't know me, and for those that do know me, hello, virtually at least. This song that I'm going to present is a song that I wrote. It's called How to Be a Man, and I wrote this song for Father's Day. I wrote this actually whilst serving Unity Church of Las Vegas a while. I mean, I wrote this song, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, which is kind of sounds crazy to say out loud. But I wrote this song as a way to say thank you to all the fathers in the world, all the fathers that would hear the song at least. And I wasn't a father at the time when I wrote this song. I wrote this before I had my daughter. She's now 9 years old. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the men who are out there being fathers, and you don't necessarily have to have biological children to be a father. And that's really what I wanted to encapsulate in this song, because I grew up without a father in my life, and instead I had a number of amazing role models like teachers and coaches and coworkers who just left a pretty indelible impact on me and the man that I am today. So I want to say thank you to them. I also wanted to offer just a small word of caution as well, because I think sometimes, guys, we can be a little loose with our advice, and we may say things that are a joke, and we get the joke because we have the wisdom and the experience to understand the context of that joke. But a lot of times, the younger men, the younger adults that we're speaking to, they don't have that wisdom, and they may not realize that we're joking. And I don't think a lot of those men that made that impact on my life, I don't think they realized I was listening as intently as they thought. And so, gentlemen, I just want to offer just a small bit of unsolicited advice that next time you're telling some young whippersnapper how things ought to be and how a man should be, they're listening to you. And so take heed when you offer that advice. Again, happy Father's Day. Mega blessings to you, and I hope you're doing well. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I met a man who told me he was 90 or 93. He said the weeks and months these days, they don't matter much to me. He told me a story about the war. He told me how it used to be before. So I bought the next round and raised my glass. I said, tell me some more about the past. And he said, son, don't take offense, but you don't understand what it means to be a man. You see, a man was tough, and he did what's right. Never went out looking for a fight, but he didn't run from one. He had so much more to tell me, he had so much more to say, but the one thing that I took away was how to be a man. I met a man who told me life was all about career. He said, when I was your age, I made my wage through hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. He said he'd worked all day and he'd worked all night, worked all of his life trying to get it right. So I asked him how to get ahead. He looked straight at me and then he said, son, don't take offense, but you don't understand what it means to be a man. You see, a man works hard and he picks up slack. He don't live his life looking back at all the things he should have done.
He had so much more to tell me, he had so much more to say, but the one thing that I took away was how to be a man. Come on. That's Bill Leary, ladies and gentlemen. So the years went on and I met a kid. He looked 20 or 23. He asked me back in the day, what did you do? He asked me how it used to be. You see, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He needed some of that old school point of view. So I thought about those men before me who said it once. So now I'm gonna say it again. Yeah, son, don't take offense, but you don't understand what it means to be a man. You see, a man is tough and he does what's right. He don't go out looking for a fight, but he ain't gonna run from one. And a man works hard and he picks up slack. He don't live his life looking back at all the things he should have done. I thank God for those men before me and all they had to say. They helped make me who I am today. They showed me how to be a man. How to be a man, yeah. How to be a man. Oh, they showed me, yeah, how to be a man. Thank you, friends.
Happy Father's Day. We're celebrating Father's Day. And we're doing it by stepping inside of the strength of what we call the divine masculine. Now, the divine masculine is a quality of the divine that includes being protective, it includes power, includes strength, it's including being grounded, it's including being courageous. And when you think of the greatest men in history, or just about the men in your life that are really potent and powerful, you notice that they have some similar traits that they all share. The essence of this divine masculine is both in men and women, really. It's not just confined to men. And the divine masculine really works good when it's complemented with the divine feminine, and together they really make a powerful force. And what's lacking today is this divine masculine stepping up to the plate and being front and center. When I was at Renaissance Unity in Warren, Michigan, also is known as Church of Today before it changed the name, there was a men's group there, and during this men's group, we had an affirmation, and it was this: I am holy boldness in action. And we got all the men to say that. Matter of fact, we would shout it: I am holy boldness in action. So the question I have for you today: are you bold? Well, in our culture, generally we take a look at boldness from an egocentric point of view. Boldness has a connotation of being arrogant, rude, and sometimes even cocky. We see this a lot in the world today. In fact, this boldness is unholy. It really isn't holy. Now, this holy boldness that I'm talking about is anchored in an unshakable trust in the field of love, in the consciousness of the Almighty, and in the universal presence. That is what boldness is all about. And the essence of the divine masculine really comes out in this. Now, I guess it seems paradoxical how we can really get to this holy boldness, because in order to be holy and bold, we need to surrender and be humble. Seems kind of odd, but that's where we're going to get our strength and potency from. Well, you see, even an athlete or dancer, they must surrender to a physical discipline of exercise. And a musician, they must surrender to the discipline of daily practice. And as a spiritual person, we must surrender our mind and body to the soul and to the essence of the divine in order for us to be a powerful divine presence. You know, it reminds me of, some of you may have seen a few years ago, this series. It was called The Game of Thrones. And in it, they would say over and over again, bend the knee. And it was a kneeling where they were submitting to the king or the queen. But I'm not, no. We're not surrendering to anybody, any person, any particular thing. But it's like we are going to bend the knee and surrender our ego in a submissive posture to the Almighty, to the divine. In order to be bold, we need to surrender and be humble so that something else can actually take place. And what happens is, once we are surrendering to this infinite presence, out of the ego, tapped into the divine, three wonderful qualities will emerge to support us in our divine masculine essence, and that is confidence, fearlessness, and resiliency. Confidence, fearlessness, and resiliency. Let's take a look at the first one, confidence. Now I'm going to go to the 23rd Psalm, which I really like. The psalmist who wrote that really is talking about unshakable confidence. Right off the start, right out of the bat, from the very beginning, he says, the Lord is my shepherd, makes me to lie down. This God leads me beside still waters. This God restores my soul, and he prepares a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. So what this is saying, this psalm says confidence in God. In other words, God's got this. So this is what we're stepping into. In order to be holy and bold, we surrender to the Almighty, and the confidence comes when we know with our mind and our heart and our soul, God's got this. God's got this. God's got this. You get this? Well, and then the psalmist goes on to say, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Notice something, he says, not if I walk, but when I walk. So we're all going to have valleys and shadows in life, but we know that whenever we do, we can face it. We can go through it. Why? Because God's got this. And so the first thing that I want us to do in order to bring out this divine masculine and to have this boldness in life is just take a knee or take a moment and surrender God's got this. Say it in your mind, say it in your heart, and feel it in your body. God's got this. Now, what I'm really saying, and what the Psalm, the 23rd Psalm is saying, we do, but it is really not about us doing. It's more about God in and through us doing. So holy boldness comes from the confidence that not only God's got this, but God is moving in and through us once we surrender and relax into this divine flow. And our confidence becomes unshakable. So much so that I love the last part of this, and it says that we will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And that means that God's got this, and there's no separation between us and God, period. Now, we may think that holy boldness, we need to be like an 8 on the Enneagram. Not so. Or we need to be a outgoing person, like a alpha male. Not so. Look, like I said before, to be what I'm talking about, this divine masculine, this holy boldness in action, you could be male, female, you could be a part of the LBGTQ community. You just need to be a being tapped into the divine, and you, yes, you can access it. And it doesn't matter who you are. I really like this. The Apostle Paul was clearly holy boldness in action. Paul was a small man. He was only about 5 feet tall. And I understand when he spoke, he had kind of like a whiny, high-pitched voice. And he suffered from a physical ailment. Now, it appears that Paul, the Apostle Paul, was not a Paul Newman lookalike, nor did he have the voice of Morgan Freeman, but he was a powerful, supremely confident man. And that's all it takes, for he said, it is no longer I who lives, but the Christ who lives in me. So, what I'm inviting us to do, in order to develop this divine masculine, to be in touch with the truth of who we are, I'm just inviting us to relax, realize, doesn't matter our size, doesn't matter our gender, doesn't matter if we have a physical disability or not, just know this: God is with me, and because of that, you and I are holy boldness in action. That's your confidence. Next thing is fearlessness. Holy boldness means to live with confidence and fearlessness. Question I have for you: what do you fear? What do you fear? We've got all kinds of fears. All of us have it. I understand that in 1956, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was having a tough time. He had just gotten arrested, and the previous week he had had several death threats, and now he was getting ready to speak at a church rally. And just before he left, he got another death threat. He had acknowledged that he's starting to feel some fear. Well, something happened. He had delivered a message, and there was one lady, and her name was Mother Pollard. She came to him after he spoke, and he says, "Are you okay?" And he says, "Yes, I'm okay." He says, "No, you're not. I want you to know something. I told you that we are with you till the very end. Then Martin said a glow came over her face and her voice became certain, and she became fully inspired. And she said to him, if we don't have you, I just want you to know God's going to take care of you. Martin took a deep breath, he relaxed, and he allowed that to sink in. And that is a powerful way in which we can switch from this fear-based reality into a faith-based reality. There's an old saying that when fear knocks at the door, faith answers, and when it does, no one is there. Over and over again, we are taking a look at ways in which we can approach this fear. Lord knows we have a lot of it going on. If you look at the news, you could look at the conditions that are going on, both in the world or in the United States, but also in our lives. There's a lot of things that we can get us upset. When we take a look at another story in the Bible, in the New Testament, Jesus was in a boat and a storm comes up. And the disciples ran to him all afraid and woke him up. Jesus stood up and he said, hush, peace, be still. The wind stopped, the storm calmed down, and there was a great calm. And it was a great miracle, but there's another little metaphysical point that I wanted to point out to. And this was done so that the disciples could have an inner calm in the midst of the storm. That what they were able to do is have the divine presence in the midst of whatever's going on the outside. So holy boldness is bringing forth the faith in the Almighty, the faith in the oneness of God, the faith in the wholeness of God that's always there. Even when there's a storm going on, we don't have to be fearful inside. And then the other thing, the last thing is resiliency. I'd like to use a simple definition of resiliency is the ability to be happy, successful, again and again after something difficult as bad has happened, to be able to bounce back. There was a coach at Auburn years ago, and he was called Coach Shrug. And he got one of his players, and he said, you know what I like to be able to do? I want you to help me do some recruiting. I need some good players. And his former player said, Coach, you can count on me. And the coach said, okay, now, this is what I would like. He said, when we're in the game and a fellow, he gets knocked down and he gets back up again, and then when you knock him down, he stays down, and the player said, yeah, Coach, we don't want that kind of player, do we? Coach said, no, we don't want that player. He said, there's another kind of player. When you hit him and you knock him down, he gets back up, and you hit him, he goes down again, he gets back up, but when you hit him the next time, he stays down. And the player said, we don't want that kind of player. Do we, Coach? He said, no, don't want that kind of player. Then he said, there's this other kind of player. No matter how many times you hit him, he gets back up. And the player said, Coach, that's what we want. And the coach said, nope, we don't want him either. Well, what do we want? The coach said, I want the guy that keeps knocking everybody down. Well, in this spiritual principle, that's not the person that we want. We want the person that keeps getting back up, the resiliency. For you see, there's a there's an old Baptist song, and it says simply that a saint is not someone who falls down, but one that keeps getting back up. So resiliency is because you have faith in the Almighty, because we are anchored in the truth and allowing the love of the divine coming through us over and over again, we can have life that may look like it knocks us down, but we could get right back up again. Affirmation time. I am resilient. I am unstoppable. That is the divine masculine. That is holy boldness in action. Now, we can get caught off guard, and especially I did. I did not know the pandemic was coming. It really threw me for a loop. Some of you may have had something that come up and it wasn't on your to-do list and it didn't pop up on your smartphone. When that happens, affirm, I am resilient, I am unstoppable, and even though something may tilt you one way or the other, you can bounce back because you have holy boldness in you. And Paul talks about this in 2 Corinthians and the 12th chapter, the 9th verse. He says, but he said to me, and that is God said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. And so this powerful sentence says, my grace is sufficient for you. God's power is made perfect even though we may be weak. We can pick ourselves up and move forward. Maya Angelou had a poem, and there's a couple of lines of it that I like, and it is this: you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. I'll rise. That's what we will do. No matter what happens, we will rise. So this Sunday we celebrate Father's Day, standing inside of this potent, divine, masculine, and we are now ready to move forward to no matter what happens. We know that the Lord is our shepherd, and we're holy boldness in action. And now, at Renaissance Unity, we had this affirmation. I said, I am holy boldness in action. I want to clarify something. When we say we are holy boldness in action, or I am holy boldness in action, it is not the human of me. It is the I am, or the Christ in me, that is this holy boldness in action. It is the Spirit within us that's holy boldness in action. And so as we celebrate this day, acknowledge the fact right here, don't wait until tomorrow, that who you are, it is alignment with the divine. Nothing can stop you, nothing that can hold you back. You are holy boldness in action. That's a universal divine essence, masculine essence that's available to us, through us. But the most important thing as us, you and I, are holy boldness in action. The world needs us now. Your family needs you now. The United States needs us now, and the world needs us now. And we don't have to do big and major things. We can do simple things, just do it in an alignment with the power and the presence of the Almighty. Step forward. Be holy. Boldness in action. Happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day. My name is Donald Fouts, and I'm honored to serve as prayer chaplain in Unity. Sunday church services at Unity, for me, are a time of weekly celebration. What that means is, as part of your Unity service, my role is to celebrate with you the message of God's love and the bond of love we share together in unity as collaborators. When I consider God as Father, I am reminded that it is impossible for the energy of creation to be a gender. The energy of creation is a collaboration of masculine and feminine, male and female. But for Father's Day, I celebrate with you those attributes of masculine points of nature, strength and power. As a father myself, I pray to balance strength and power with wisdom and love. For this guided meditation, we will go within and acknowledge gratefully Charles Fillmore, Father of Unity, who helps us to discover our innate gifts of strength, power, wisdom, and love. So if you'll close your eyes and let's find the breath. Take in a long relaxation breath and just notice. Give yourself permission to become present. Notice your position that you're sitting in. Notice your feet on the floor and the position of your hands and any sensation. In Charles Fillmore's work, we find the power of strength in the lower back. So just focus your energy on your lower back for a moment. And now bring to mind a time in your life that you knew you were strong. You knew that there was nothing that could waver you from the strength, physically and emotionally. This strength is available in every moment that we turn our attention and ask the question, where is my strength now? And surely Spirit will answer the call, and strength will be your gift. And now find the breath again, and in your own mind's eye, focus on the area of your throat. The gift of power is right here in the throat. You are clear about what is true for you, and easily you speak your truth, and you live your life from the power of knowing that you are connected to Source. And the words you speak are words of truth. And the life you live is bound to a life of truth. And power flows easily in your spoken words and the activity of your being. And breathe that in. And in this next breath, bring your attention to your brow point, also known as the third eye. And of course, intelligence comes in the mind, but wisdom is beyond intelligence, It's eternal, and it flows easily. And from the brow point, if you relax into this point of the body, moving beyond the body and beyond the mind, there's a field of peace, a field of potential. And out of this pure, infinite potential comes wisdom. And it is there without exception, simply asking, Spirit, move wisdom into my life, into the situation, into my relationships. And taking another breath in, move your focus and your attention now to your heart. And if you can imagine that you are surrounded by family and friends, those you know encourage your life. Accept the goodness that comes in the relationships of those we love. And out of the heart pours an energy, a light, a connection. All humanity is bound by one source, and this source is love. And if you can imagine this love moving easily from your heart to your family, to your friends, to your neighbors, to everyone you encounter, the blessing of love will manifest easily in every moment. And so find your breath again. Notice your position. Notice your body. Acknowledge that this indeed is a time of grace. And we are grateful for our fathers. We are grateful for the masculine of strength and power, wisdom and love. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, Don, for a great meditation. And thank you, Ira, for leading us off with a special reading. If you are standing in the need of prayer, I'm inviting you to call Silent Unity. They are there 24 hours, 7 days a week, so that they can support you in whatever you're going through. I'm so glad we were able to offer that as a service. And as we are going through here, we're transforming this ministry in so many different ways. Gosh, we're growing and expanding. And so just thank you for all of your generous gifts and your tithes and your offerings. And so I'm inviting you, if you haven't given before, and if you choose to, you can go to our website, hit on the donate button so that you can contribute. And you could do it by phone and with a text message. So thank you for all that you give and all that you do. And as we conclude today, we are tapping into the prayer for protection, which is our holy boldness in action affirmation. It comes up on the screen now, and let's say it together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. And just want you to know, wherever we are, God is there. and all is well. And so it is. Happy Father's Day. Be holy boldness in action.
You see, a man is tough, and he does what's right. He don't go out looking for a fight, but he ain't gonna run from one. And a man works hard, and he picks up slack. He don't live his life looking back at all the things he should have done.